EG Solutions is a back-office workflow optimization software pioneer, and it returned to the black last year with pre-tax profit of £407,000 compared to the previous year's loss of £1.5 million. Elizabeth Gooch is the Chief Executive. Now, Elizabeth, obviously a transformational year. What did you get right?
Essentially, Sarah, what we've done is capitalise on the investments that we made prior to our 2013-14 financial year. So we had a number of strategies that we had been investing in: product development, global customers, a reseller agreement with a US software business to deploy our product globally, a move to our hosting platform so we get more recurring revenues, and then increasing our sales and marketing to seize a market opportunity that was there. Those strategies had all been invested in, and those fundamentals were in place at the back end of 2012. I think the issues that we had in 2013 are well documented. When I was brought back in December 2013, it was essentially to get those fundamentals back in place and start realising the value of those investments. And that's exactly what's happened.
So are you going to stay then, since we've just got you back?
Yes, I was appointed as a permanent chief executive. Well, not permanent, but as permanent as you can be as a chief exec in January when the placing was completed. So I'm back for the foreseeable future. I think you're only ever as good as your last year results, so no one can say you're there forever, can they?
Well, let's look to the future, because what we want to know is about the growth in your customer base. Are there any more contracts in the pipeline?
Yes, many more contracts in the pipeline. So, the good news from last year is the significant increase in major contract wins, which during our investment period had been an average of 3 to 4 per year. And in the last financial year, it was 10. And those contract wins came from new sectors, so telecoms, utilities and local government, in addition to our traditional financial services customer base. They also came from new territories, so South Africa, Asia, particularly where the new sales came from. So we demonstrated some potential for those sectors and territories in the last financial year, and in this financial year we're intending or are investing more and intending to close more business in all of those areas.
Now, you've got cash in the bank as opposed to the previous year's debt. How much is there, and what are you going to do with it?
Currently 4.3 million as at the year end. We raised 3 million with the placing. I'll come back to that in a second. I think the key point is we generated 1.7 million from operations, and this business is a cash generative business. We can turn profit into cash quickly, as long as the financial controls are in place, which happily we had back in place also last year as another fundamental. So with 4.3 million cash, what are we going to do? The message to our investors with the placing was that we would invest 1 million in increasing the sales team, 500,000 in more marketing, 500,000 in more product development, and 1 million to build our balance sheet so that we can transact with the bigger organisations. So a pretty clear message to our investors about what we're investing in and why. And obviously the increased sales team is to support securing that business from the new sectors and the new territories.
Now, Elizabeth, in terms of your shareholders, you have recommended no dividends this time. Will this always be the case?
Well, I think it's always as a shareholder, I would love to have dividends, if I'm honest. But when you're investing in a growth business and you've just raised money from a placing, it doesn't make sense to raise it in one hand and give it out in dividends in the other. I think that would be, our shareholders would question whether that was the right thing to do. In the past, we've said we would have a progressive dividend policy, but right now we're in a period of investing to grow. So while we're in that period, I don't think it's sensible.
Well, finally, Elizabeth, will we be reporting on a second consecutive year of progress when we talk to each other in 12 months' time?
We've got good visibility of our broker target right now. Our chairman, Duncan McIntyre, is very much of the ilk of creeping up on success, so he doesn't like to set frothy targets that can't be met, and you'd have seen that through last year where we had 2 or 3 upgrades through the year. That's very much Duncan's pattern. So hopefully that's what we'll be seeing through the rest of this year.
Lovely. Elizabeth Gooch, Chief Executive of EG Solutions, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.